All right, man, we're gonna watch this through,
All
and
right,
then
man.
I know you've seen it like 1,000 times, but we're gonna
Yep,
do this.
definitely.
Creativity, well, it's a fickle thing, and like any living relationship, it can go sideways in an instant. First day back home, it had been a long trip, and it was on this night where I found it weighing on me again. That feeling, the kind that pulls you into a helpless descent. There just wasn't any progress, or so that's how it felt, as I would look above to what seemed like everybody else. Those who had all seemed to have broken the proverbial glass ceiling, the merry party of them all, relishing, rejoicing, while I stayed down here in the depths. And that's when it began. The voices. But you'll find that these voices will chase you unless you make it to a place like this. But stillness was just the first step.
Dude, what? That was crazy. Oh my gosh.
That takes me back. That was a while ago when I filmed all that.
I feel like it's been not almost a year, but it was like, yeah, how
Kinda.
long ago was it? Almost
Well, I
coming
filmed
up
that
on almost a year?
in You're Aware I took that summer break, and then it was like
Yeah.
early August where I was like, okay, like, and I was planning to come back to Guatemala in like September. So I was like, I gotta get started on these videos, or like a series of videos I want to do before I go back. And so like all throughout August, I was like filming this. Like early August, I was like getting back into writing and planning out videos. So it was kind of like essentially August was all filming, and then September was production, editing, and then I posted it, I think like September 11th actually. So it was a while ago. It was quick, pretty fast though if you think about it. I don't know, in terms of
Yeah.
like the idea it came quickly. I remember.
Where did it come from? Like, was there any specific moments where you're just like, okay, cool, inspirations, things like that?
It was so odd because, so like I said, I in the video kind of talks about this in a very vague way, but like I remember I came back to the States in May, and I took a long like month trip to NYC, and I was staying with a friend, and it was not planned to be a month, but I just ended up staying long because like, hey, I'm not working, and I like NYC, I want to explore New York more and stuff. But I remember like just being surrounded by a lot of like, I went to a couple of creative events, and I've also was following a lot of creatives that were kind of like blowing up at the time. And I remember I had just come back from Guatemala where I had done a bunch of videos that I considered like some of my best work. And obviously, when I left my job in December, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go all like full in on my creativity. Like, I'm gonna make some big progress. It's gonna be great. But I come back and I was just sitting in New York, and I was like, I didn't make the progress I wanted to make, and like there was not enough. And I feel like I'd poured my heart out into like my last couple projects, that it was a bit like disheartening to see that lack of progress, and to see all these other people blowing up when in content that for me felt like, quicker, like more digestible, maybe like just kind of like cheaper, like turn of the run kind of content. And I was like, it's kind of disheartening for an artist to pour their heart into things and to not have any progress, and to see everyone around you growing. So I remember like I came back from New York and I came back to Boston, and I knew like I had this kind of like internal struggle in my heart where I was like, either I'm gonna fall into the temptation to just start churning out content quickly, 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 so I can like make some progress fast, because like time was kind of pressuring me. Like obviously I wasn't making a lot of money, and I was like, I need to like do something with this videography career and like justify why I left my job. Um, but I remember like some part of me was just like, no, like that's just not the way. And I knew like there was like some level of integrity within me and some love for artistry, that I was like, I cannot go down that like dark path and like just
Yeah.
become like a quick 7, 8 second reel. Cause I know I can make videos like that and I can make them really great, but like that's not gonna fulfill me, and it's gonna, I don't know, it's just not what I'm looking for with my life. So I decided to do the opposite, which seems kind of ridiculous because again, it's like I need to make progress. How do I make progress? By doing nothing. And it was like kind of insane. But I remember I posted this like story on Instagram with a bit of a like a paragraph, and I was just telling everyone like, hey guys, I'm taking a break from creativity. I'm gonna step away for like 2 months. I'm gonna like just focus on researching filmmaking, like looking and watching movies, digesting art, looking at painting, reading poetry, playing music, just like, and living my life, hanging out with friends and family and exercising, all these things that just kind of in my head was like, I'm just going to take a break from actually producing and thinking about creativity and just live life and digest good creativity, good art, in my opinion. So when I came time for August, when I was like, hey, like I feel ready, like I want to make some stuff again. I don't remember what day it was, but I just remember like I knew that I wanted it to be about that struggle. I knew I wanted to tell that story, and I was like, what better material to use than my actual life experience? And so I decided to just do a story about that. And I had been watching a lot of movies and a lot of like TV shows that like I feel like were inspiring me at the time. And I knew I wanted to make it like a 3-act sort of play or like a series so that I can like tell a longer story, but in a way that's more digestible.
Yeah.
And I remember like one show specifically I watched a lot in the summer was Atlanta by Donald Glover. I don't know if you've seen that show. Super good.
Dude, love it. I love his work in general. And I know you feel like you mentioned that Jordan Peele and Donald Glover you mentioned in one of your comments, or I don't forgot
Yeah,
where I
yeah,
read
yeah.
it. But like
Yeah.
that, yeah, Atlanta, love it, man.
I was just like in awe of how he could like evoke emotions out of the audience, different emotions in the span of 30 minutes. Like he could make you like on the edge of your seat, creep the heck out. And he can also like make you like feel like sad about a character or like invested in a romance or like
Yeah.
you laughing your like guts out. And it's like,
Laughing like
yeah,
crazy.
dude.
The roller coasters like this.
Yeah. But it's all like it's not done. It's done with like a splash of surrealism that like just makes you like also question the reality of it all, and you kind of like laugh at the fact that it seems so surreal, but yet it's still kind of grounded. And I was like, I want to do something with my first video back that one is very different than anything I've done before. Like I think all my videos in Guatemala was very romantic. It was very like flowers, it was very
Mm.
like beautiful landscapes. It was like the poetry of life. And I was like, I want to go back with something that no one's gonna expect. And I was like, what better way than like something creepy and weird that kind of like evokes something like Atlanta, like it's surreal. But I'd also like watched The Shining like 2 weeks before that, and I remember I was like super like impressed by how they used soundtrack to evoke emotion too. So I was like, I think actually I watched The Shining after I had the idea for the video, and I was like, this soundtrack is perfect. Like I'm gonna sample this in the video because it's doing exactly what I want to do with this video. But it all came quickly. Like I remember it was like an evening. I just like started writing out like, oh, it'd be cool if I was in a field. Oh, it'd be cool if like a hand came in. Oh, it'd be cool if like somehow the car almost ran over me and then like it transitioned to me back in the field. Like I remember like all that came in the span of like 3 hours, 2 hours maybe.
It's wild because I know exactly what you mean. Like it comes pouring in, but if you really think about it, those I don't know, however many hours those ideas came was actually over the span of that last year. It led
Yeah,
up to that point,
yeah,
and all of a sudden the cup is just full now, and
yeah,
then boom, everything is coming up. That's what's
yeah,
beautiful about it.
for
Um,
sure.
dude, because I was gonna ask about it. It felt so much like a psychological thriller,
Hmm.
like the music, and I was like, it's so interesting. And it was like, where did you? I know. Well, now I know that it's kind of where the idea came from and the inspiration, and in terms of like you're talking about the transitions. Did that all come from just sitting there, and now you're just coming up with ideas of how to connect? Did you write the script first?
Yeah, honestly, this was probably the first time, and I don't know if I've done it quite like this, but it was the first time where all the visuals came first, no script at all. And I think I knew I was sitting on something really good when I was like going through like the visual descriptions, but like shot by shot. And I was like, you can kind of get a gist of what I'm trying to depict just by the visuals without me saying anything. And
Wow.
it was cool for me because I was like, these visuals are powerful on their own. Like almost like I was like, I don't even need to write anything to like, go with it. But obviously, like I wanted to tell a story that resonated with people, so I wanted to add some vocals. But I remember like it all just came. Like I was like, I remember like I wanted to get pulled by something. I wanted specifically, I think the first shot that came to my mind was the light shot
When
where
you're
it's
looking up.
like I was like, it just makes sense. Like you feel the feeling of comparison. It's like looking like through a window of like all this like a dinner party of all these creatives that have succeeded, and you're outside in the rain, and you're like, I want to be there. Like, why am I not there? I was like, how do I visualize that in a way that feels it kind of evokes that? I was like, why not just make it like the dinner party's above my head and it's like heaven, and I'm just like in the depths and I'm looking up at them and I can't join them. I remember that idea. I think that was the first one that came to my head.
Wow, this is
Um,
the first shot. That's crazy.
I think
Um,
so. Yeah,
and were you shooting all this by yourself? All by
all by
yourself?
myself. Sorry.
Uh,
I had two friends help me.
yeah.
One was the friend with the hand, like she was helping me, in the field, and I was actually filming a video for her website. So at the same time, we were like talking about, hey, I'm also working this video. Would you mind helping me out with
Nice.
a couple shots? And I was like, and one of them needs to be in the field, so it's perfect because we're both shooting in the field here. She was like, yeah, of course, I'll help you out. So she did the finger, and I was directing her. I was like, no, like this, no, like
Yeah,
this.
yeah. You gotta get it
Opposed to, like,
perfect. The velocity of which it comes in.
yeah,
Yeah,
like in more confidence, a little more like a 2-second pause there. Like it was kind of funny. And then my other friend helped me with the car shot because he had the camera and he had the light, and he kind of just controlled it with his like the app that I use the aperture light on. It just kind of like raised it up as I
Yeah.
turned around, so it looks like a car's coming.
Perfect. Because I was gonna ask you about that and about this. Because I was like, okay, I'm like, you shot this by yourself, but I'm like, is your hand is on this side on the app, turning the light on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually forgot to mention my grandfather. He also helped me.
Oh,
He's the
she got a
hands.
shot.
He's the hands that pulled me back.
Oh, dang. Okay.
I literally bought on Amazon these like green glove, like $5 hands, and I just had him like put them on and then pull me back. One,
Yeah.
though, I kind of messed up because it was just too dark of lighting for the green to really pop, so it was like hard to mask it out with the green screen kind of effect. But two, he's also my grandfather, so he's not gonna be pulling me as hard as I wanted to. So I was
got it.
like, pull me harder, because I was living with my grandparents at the time, and he's like trying, and I was like, you know what? Like this take was good. I'm just gonna speed it up in post, so it looks like something really powerful just comes and pulls me. Yeah, that's my grandfather.
Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Okay. So these gloves were green, you're saying?
Yes, yeah, the gloves. Yeah, so that's why I can make it. I tried my best and to make it like a black shadow or something that's pulling.
What? Wild. Okay.
That shot was actually the last shot. The pulling was the last shot that I had come up with. I was actually trying to fill the shot between me falling and me looking like there, like at the windows. And I was like, what? How can I transition it? I initially shot a take that was me just falling over, like see the hand on the right. I initially was like, oh, what if like my character is like scared? He's like, whoa, what is this hand doing in my room? And then he like kind of walks back afraid and falls over in the bed. But it didn't look good. So I was like, let me think of something else that can like accentuate. And I was like, it just makes sense, like pulling in the direction, and then the next scene is me falling in that same direction. It just, that continuity, that shock factor, that
the
everything
motion.
was
Yeah, for sure. Even the like the audience's eyes, where it's traveling.
Right.
And then you do that too. I talk about with the text as well. Like it was like perfect
Yes.
how you had it.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
leading your fall almost.
Yeah, that was just me playing with like graphics. Like I wanted it to be interesting. So I was like, obviously I can just put that. I could have put that text in the bottom like a caption.
You could,
but,
yeah.
But I think it's like it accentuates like the falling into the abyss, and it's like that's what it's saying. It's like it pulls you into a helpless descent. It's like that makes sense that the text is also falling down. That's something I try to think about with my videos, is like how to use captions in ways that aren't. I'm not just using them to be like I don't know, like exciting or to be like super like eye catching. Like I want it to serve a purpose in the actual story of the video as well. So sometimes I'm like trying to do too much with the text. I'm like, dude, it's like I'm literally talking about like a trash can. Like just put it in the bottom like a caption, and like save like the more specific moments or the more like interesting uses of text when it actually means something. or when it
Yeah, but
matters.
you have to try it, because if you don't,
yeah,
it's like you would never know. Because what if that trash can with that text is like, oh, this actually works,
yeah, like I'm opening it or something. Yeah,
That too. And like I like how you use like a little bit of that blur too with some of the text. You use it here, use it in Act 2, which we'll watch, but yeah, just like using it, and sometimes it's like a snap or sound effect and just kind of changes a little bit.
yeah.
Or even the beginning, which is something I wanted to talk to you, because like you have a little bit of this jitter effect with the text.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love that.
yeah, it's kind of like unsettling a little bit. That's the whole point of it.
Like it's so,
and it also slightly gets like blurred too, like you were mentioning.
it feels subtle, but it almost does make for me, it makes me feel a little uneasy. Like am I
That's
tripping out? Like because I have bad eyes, I have astigmatism. I'm like, yeah, what am I looking at right now?
I love that. No, that was definitely the goal of it. I don't honestly know what inspired that. I think I was actually watching I was watching a YouTube video by Sir. I don't know if you know him. He's another filmmaker, videographer, but he has he's the one that actually has made Film Vision, which is one of the film emulation programs that I use to color my videos. But I remember it was like during the summer, of course, I was like watching one of his videos, and it was like a really quiet and like still video. Like it was like him taking his time. He wasn't doing anything flashy. He was just walking through like, I don't know, Italy or something. And at the end, he like just kind of like slowly like fades in this quote by literally that same quote but longer. And I was like that quote just like was the perfect cherry on top to that video. Like it just accentuated exactly what he was trying to depict. And it even connected it a little bit too. Like I was like, why was this video so like quiet and why is it so slow? And then he like talked about the stillness of creativity, and I was like, yeah, okay, I get where he was going for. And so I was like, in my next videos, I want to, in this series of 3 videos, I want to like put a quote in the beginning that sets the tone for what the video is going to talk about and kind of puts the audience in a mind space to think like that. And I was like, also, it'd be a cool way to play with sound design and like build up to like what the video is going to be about in a way.
The sound design is wild in all, and I read the comments too, and you like I take pride in creating great
Yeah.
sound design.
Yeah.
Where does that come in? Do you think of the sound as like kind of as you're going through it, and then obviously you're finalizing all the sound design after, or is everything kind of laid out and you're like, okay, let's get to work on the sound design? Like, how
Yeah,
does
for
that
sure.
creative process work?
I definitely think about sound pretty early, I would say. At least like in the more like monumental moments of the video, I would say. What I don't know is the music. I think I have an idea for like what kind of music I would want to fill that part of the video, but I don't know exactly what song I'm going to choose and like what the beats are going to be and like how that's going to affect the pacing and the editing. Like that all comes in the process. But I definitely have like, for example, well, we can get to part 2, but I think part 1, I definitely knew I wanted there to be moments of like shock. Because again, with watching The Shining, I was watching these moments where like something would be building. And you're like, and nothing's really creepy on the screen yet, but the music is making you feel like something's coming in. It puts you uneasy, and you're like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
And sometimes nothing happens. And you're like, why do they do that? Like, why do they put me uneasy? But I wanted things to build like subliminally, and like music and sound design has such a way of controlling the audience's emotions beyond the visuals, and like sometimes more than the visuals. Like if you take away some of the music or some of the sounds, you look at the visuals and you'll be like, what am I looking at? Or like it just doesn't have that effect.
It's like a chemistry or like a perfect marriage between the visuals and the sound and what sounds too. Like this, if you want to really get specific, is like strings, like the strings here. It does evoke that like creepiness that and that
Yeah, it's like a
feeling. It's like
yeah.
it makes you kind of shudder a little bit. I don't know sound design and music as well as like a lot of people, but I can appreciate it, and I think that's why I could appreciate it, because like it feels seamless when you do it really really well.
Yeah, and that's definitely important. I was gonna mention that one thing that I do that's sort of like maybe like a trick up my sleeve is that obviously I've learned like music production because again I have an interest in music production and making music. When I was getting into photography, I was also getting into music production, and I was like familiarizing myself with this program. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's called Ableton Live, and it's like one of the top like music production softwares. And initially, I learned how to like balance sound. I learned how to like use effects well and how to like record into mics and how to like layer different sounds and stuff in that program. And once I started making videos, I was like, I think it just makes sense that I would make my sound on this program that is made for audio. It is not like, and I noticed that some people make their sound on Premiere. Like they have all these crazy amount of layers of like recorded in sounds. But for me, it's just harder to like work in that space because Ableton it's so much better to organize like all your layers, and like it has so much more freedom in terms of effects use and like layering things that for me, I think is like one of my secret weapons is that I like use my skills in music production and I use that program and I like I export like a rough cut usually in Premiere. I put it in Ableton so I can line up because it has a video player in it too. I line up the video and then I just make the sound design with that video rough cut in Ableton, and then I export it, bring it back to Premiere, and then I have like this really complex sound. Like one bar though. It's just one bar of sound, but it's all the sounds are layered in Ableton. They just got exported into Premiere.
I guess they don't have like a feature where you could export individual, I guess, sounds within that sequence. Huh?
I think they might, maybe, because I don't know. It's something to
Just in
look
case
into
you need to
'cause a
like
lot of-
move stuff over, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but honestly,
know?
like when I do it, I just like I go back to Ableton and I re-export, and it's kind of maybe
Yeah.
it's actually smart for me to look into something like that. But typically, like if something's a little off, then I'll edit it in Ableton. But because I have the rough cut there in Ableton, I can still time things quite nicely. That most of the time it's just like sound balance that I have to go back and fix.
Dang.
Like when I play it off my phone or something.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a great secret weapon actually, because
Yeah.
I think learning a program specifically that is made for sound has so much more, I don't know, utility. And you could do a lot more, and especially because you've learned it already. There's probably stuff in like you probably have tried it in Premiere where you're like, man, this doesn't. And Audition, I think Audition's one, Adobe Audition, but even still,
Really?
I'm not too familiar. I don't know how complex it is, but you know, for music, I've heard a lot about like Ableton from some of my music friends. So it's cool that you actually do that. How much time do you spend on sound design and music when you creating
A
these?
good amount. Yeah. I do a
Yeah.
lot of like trial and error. Like there's a lot of like I'm looking for specific sound. Sometimes like I'm looking for a specific vibe or emotion, but I don't know the sound that will evoke that. So I like look into like different horns for something, like if it's something loud like a horn or like a bell or like a build or like a whatever, a riser, or like crackling or things like that. Something that can like help evoke that emotion that I'm trying to get that's in my head. Because I want like that's what I want the audience to feel when they're at this point in the video, but I just don't know like what the right sounds are. So I do a lot of like going through like different sound libraries and like bringing into Ableton and like seeing if they mix well, if they don't mix well. So there's a lot of like layers in my Ableton files that are just off. Like they were things I tried, but they're not. And I keep them just in case I want to go back to it. But it's a lot of time, I think. And then the mixing is whole different ball game, and that takes extra time too. Because again, I'm like mixing for like phone, like ideally, because that's where most people are gonna see my my videos. So like even though I'm making it with my headphones, then I have to like listen to it on my phone, and it's different. So I have to make some adjustments to that as well.
Yeah. One of my friends who produces music, when he was making music, he wasn't wearing headphones, and I was like, "Yo, isn't this kind of, I don't know, shouldn't you be rocking some, you know, monitor or
Mm-hmm.
listening to?" And he's like, "No, because
Mm-hmm.
majority of the people now are listening to it on off their phone, so it's different." And I was like, "Man,
Mm.
I would have never known that. That's
Yeah.
incredible." That he's like, "Doesn't this sound different than when you listen to it on here?" And I'm like, "For me, I don't really have a good ear, so it sounds the same." But he's like, "Yo, it sounds completely different." I was like, "I trust you, bro. I trust you." So
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I wonder how many people actually watch my videos with headphones on. That'd be interesting to know.
I
Probably not
always
too
feel
many.
like I have to. Well, like obviously because
Mm.
I'm recording.
Yeah.
And I also feel like, man, I feel like I might miss something. Like there might be a slight little detail that's in the lower frequencies, or it's like I don't
Right.
know. Yeah, and how did you come up with this like shadow figure, like this idea of it being like an it, you know?
Yeah, I think it just kind of stems from me like trying to personify the sort of struggle that was happening within me internally, and like obviously everyone in the world deals with voices in their heads, whether it's like self-doubt, whether it's like insecurities, whether it's anxiety, whether it's like comparison, like this, like these are all voices that are fabricated by us ourselves. Like it's not actually something that exists in the world, but we're just like battling with this internally because we're humans and we deal with a lot of things. So I was like, how do I deal with that sort of feeling, this like pulling me down, that shouldn't be pulling me down? Because again, and what I've come to learn is that I'm an individual, like I'm a creative that has my own life experiences, my own perspectives, my own likes and dislikes, like, and I can make things that are completely uniquely my own. So I shouldn't be feeling this comparison because I'm different than everyone around me. But I still felt that at the time, and it's a false feeling, but it's like a demon of sorts that just kind of like pulls you, and it's like it shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be dealing with this, but yet we do. So I was like, I want to personify that in a way that's creepy because it's sad. It's an unfortunate circumstance, but it's also something that pulls you down, and like I think that whole like visual sort of personification of like feeling down, like it's dark, and so I wanted to make that visible in the video in a way.
It's beautiful. That's crazy. This right here, the shapes and things like this.
So many
Like
sounds in that. So many
yeah,
sounds layered on that one.
there's a lot of sounds. But it works too with the visuals because there's so
Yeah,
much going on. It almost
moving.
like
Yeah,
adds to every type of double exposure or whatever you're trying to
right.
do. Um, and then like this because I noticed it was like the white rectangle, and then you have these shapes,
Yeah,
right?
I knew I wanted to do like some sort of like creepy, like poltergeist-esque, like something on the TV that like is calling you from another world. And so I was like, what do I do? And I knew I wanted it to start with like a static like TV kind of like waking up and like kind of like calling you. You're like, what is this? Like, why is the TV on? And why is it like there's no channels on or something, like something weird and eerie like that. And then what comes after was what I was struggling with. I was like, well, what do I put on the screen after that? Like, how do I do it? And honestly, like, I think initially I was like, I wanted to just say something, like have words on it, like it's talking to you. So if you can tell, those shapes is actually go faster. It's just like the middle portion of it is kind of blocked out by this white block.
Oh,
And so it's saying go faster, which is kind of like the whole message of what these voices are telling, like go faster, go faster, go faster. But I think I was just messing with After Effects, and like there was something that I clicked on that added like this white kind of bar in the middle, and I was like, I like that. Like kind of like how it's actually not intelligible. Like it feels alien because it's like these weird shapes, but yet it is based off of something like an actual word, an actual phrase that relates to what it's saying. And then like I added all these like kind of like, I don't know, like graphic-y, like like glitchy effects on top. And I kind of timed it. Yeah, like I knew like I wanted a certain amount of time, so like it's just like an exported MP4 of like the static, and then the progression of that on like my laptop. I just connected that to my TV with the HDMI, and then I pressed play on my laptop, and then I just filmed and started the scene. So I knew the timing of it, and I think I even put like a little sound in the video that says like ears or something like that, so I know when to close my ears right when the thing is like at its
You gave
crux.
yourself cues.
Yeah. But obviously you don't hear it there. So that's kind of what it was.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, so that's where you had ears.
Yeah, or something like that, like now or something like that.
And then you just knew to
to prepare, because like I wanted it to begin with me like getting swayed by the voices, and then it gets more aggressive and more aggressive. So I knew I wanted it to like climax into something like that I just can't handle it anymore. And I knew it was gonna be like 20 seconds or something, so I just put that in there so I knew, because I wasn't looking at the TV, or I wasn't like looking at the bar on my laptop to see if it's about to end. I was like too busy trying to look like I'm being possessed. So I was like, let me cue myself to help myself out. And obviously there was a lot of different takes, and I was like, let me overlay them so it looks like it just feels like otherworldly, like I'm being like pulled by different things. And so I ended up just overlaying it, and
what?
And obviously all those voices are me. It's like a bunch of different recordings of me, even like the there's like a little like kind of like creepy like humming in the back too. Like I added that. I like different pitched like different tracks. So like there's high voices, there's low voices.
Okay. Well, listen to that. The whole time I thought it was an instrument. The humming, the high humming.
Yeah. Like the
what?
There's like a
That's crazy.
Yeah. I was like, I was just playing with different things. I was like, how do I make this creepy and like freaky? And I was like, well, what's creepier than like just like a hum with all this other stuff going around it. And then obviously there's some of the Shining track sample in there, like the strings, a lot of voices. And I was just going hard into the mic and just seeing like what I can come up with. Obviously, there's also phrases that I wanted to say, like "go faster," "you're not enough," and I was captioning some of them because I was like, initially I wasn't planning to put the caption there, but I was like, I think it would help for people to understand what the voices are saying, because it's a lot of sounds. And I also wanted the caption to be different than actually the rest of the text, like fonts, because like the rest of the font, all the other fonts was like me speaking, and then when I wanted the voice to speak, I wanted it to be a different font, so it like kind of highlights that it's a different voice. It's not actually me. It's like what's suppressing me talking. And then I just chose this freaky kind of like playful font that like is kind of weird, but I think it added to it.
It almost feels like writing. Like
it's like weird scribbles of a child. It's like it's freaky though. It's not like
that's what makes it freaky, like, and creepy. And like even the humming, you know, when kids are just like kind of in their own world, and like and that which could also be really creepy. Crazy. And The Shining too, obviously, because that has a lot of that imagery.
Dude, if I didn't watch The Shining that 2 weeks in or whatever, like I don't know what this video would have been, but I shout out my friend. And that's the thing, that like the art that I was consuming throughout that summer, whether it was painting, poetry, photography, I was researching different artists. I was just like going into like the history of things. That all kind of like just gave me like a new appreciation for good quality, authentic art that like is timeless and sits above the noise. And I was like, when I get back into this stuff, I'm gonna operate completely differently. Like I'm gonna make stuff that for me is undeniable, just like all this art that I'm consuming is undeniable. And like The Shining was just one of those things that spoke to me like that. And I was like, I'm gonna do something.
Did you watch it before that?
No.
Oh, that was the first time. You didn't. That wasn't a go back. Let me go back to check.
No.
Wow. So your mind must have been like, I get it now. I get why people are like this. This, like you said, sits above the noise. Like this is a classic. Even people who don't like art, not like art, but don't consume it like art, they can watch that and be like, oh, this was a great film. But on another level, that is crazy. That must have blown your mind. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
What is this?
Definitely. And I'm a Over the last year, I've become a huge cinema nerd. So I have this crazy movie list on my Notion app that's like has the directors, has the year, has like the genres so that I can filter it, has the different like eras and genres and stuff. So like I love movies, and I think that's probably one of my biggest inspirations in terms of how I make things. So it just makes sense that a movie like The Shining would have such a big impact and allow me to create something like this.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. Okay, the sound design here, just that specific part,
Yeah.
the detail in the covering of the ears and letting go, I would have
Mhm.
never thought of. When I heard it, I was like, I don't know why that one detail. I was like, this is amazing, because
Yeah.
I don't even know how you would get that, but and how do you explain it? How did you even create that sound or whatever? Like it sounds muffled, like as if you were
Right.
really covering your ears.
Right. Exactly. So again, this is all trial and error, and it's not something that I had planned from the beginning. It was like I knew I wanted to go from my room to like a street, and I was like, obviously with sound design in my head initially, it was like it'd be nice to have this stark, like just like crazy noise to then like a street noise. It's like that jump cut, like that crazy like switch between one sound to the other in the matter of a second. But when I did it, I was like, something about it just feels off. Like it's something's missing. And I was like playing with I noticed that like, hey, the ears are covered. What if I play with like, bringing like integrating the sound design to more accurately reflect what's going on the screen, and in that way emphasize what's going on. So I played with just muffling, like cutting off the high frequencies on all. So what I did was I grouped all the night sounds, because usually when it comes to like ambiances or like atmospheres, or like cities or like forests or whatever, I layer multiple things. It's not just one. So I had probably like 3 to 4. Like I had like sirens, I had like crickets, I had like birds, I had wind, I had maybe like city foley noise, whatever. 5 of them I grouped into like a group in Ableton, and then I just put like an effect on that group. And so then I controlled the high frequencies on that so that it starts covered, and then it like slowly like releases, and it allows the high
Wow.
frequencies to come in. And then I think I just added like a white noise like with it as well, so it just feels like you just came from like a concert or something that was just banging your ears, and you finally cover it, and you're like, finally peace and quiet, but it's not really peace and quiet because there's that ringing.
Yeah. It's
So
like
like I
so
just added
isolated,
that.
that ringing. What?
So again, that was trial and error. Like that was just me realizing that what I initially had planned isn't working as well. So let me like look into it more, let me think about it more, and then I kind of came up with that.
Art is a lot of problem solving, huh?
Yeah, it is. And it's humbling. It's because like people I think tend to look at like finished works of all these great artists, and they're like, they're geniuses. Like, how do they think of all this? Like, they must be of a different level. Like, why can't I be like that? But I'm sure is 99% sure that they all were doing trial and error, and that they're like us. They just think of something, it doesn't work. They think of something else, it doesn't work. And then they finally come across on their 50th attempt the masterpiece. And it's like, that's it. It's just trial and error and like taking your time with it.
I think the issue too with this day and age is like those artists that we see, if they're not so public with the process stage, where nowadays everyone is all about, I'd much rather see the behind the scenes of the process. So
Right.
and then people assume that piece of processed work or just showing the journey is supposed to be the the be all end all, and they're like, oh, this isn't as good, but it's like, I don't know, it's like a fine line that we gotta walk on sometimes.
Yeah, but I think it's a good change that people are kind of craving that more. Like I think maybe there was like a couple years on Instagram where people weren't doing that, and everyone was like, we're tired of seeing everyone just do these amazing things. Like, why can't people be more real about the process? Like, obviously, I'm struggling with this, and then I don't know who decided, but it just became more common that people would post the rough work or the phases or like the behind the scenes, and then people realize how good that was. I mean, I think that's been something that's been popular though, because as you remember, like in old DVDs, like they would have like the behind the scenes clips of how the movie was made, and everyone loved those things. Like just to see the actors in the process and see like the set. It's like seeing behind the magic. It kind of makes you appreciate the magic more, because it also makes it more accessible. You're like, wait a minute, maybe I could do something like that, because it's just people behind with all this equipment. Like,
Yeah, it's like kind of like learning a magician's tricks, and you're like, I could do that. I could try to do
yeah.
that. For sure. And then okay, this last one for this car scene, this shot. How was this shot?
But you'll find that these voices will chase you
Yeah, this one
unless you make
was
it to a place like
Like with the perfect, the timing, the light.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was all that behind the scenes?
Yeah, so that's shout out my friend again, Joban. He's the one who I asked. I was like, I think I was actually this is all funny because I was doing a lot of during my summer break. I wasn't working for myself. I was actually beginning to work for others because I wanted that experience. I wanted to like do videography and like professionally and just get paid for it. So luckily I had my friend Mata, who was the one who did the hand. I was filming a video for a website. Jovan, I was filming a music video for him. So like on a day where we were shooting shots for his stuff, I was like, hey, like before we go home, can we stop at this street that I have in Boston that I have in mind to get this shot for my video? And he's like, yeah, man, of course. So he was the one who was helping me that day. And he just had, I think the camera was on a tripod, but what I had him do was hold the light and have the phone app that controls the light and just like pan it from 0 to 100. So it feels like a car's coming towards me. And it was a lot of takes, man. It was
Yeah.
not only because we had to get like the light right, but because it's a street that cars just kept coming down that day. And also people were walking down that day. So we actually shot different angles. Like that angle is one of like maybe 3 different angles we shot on that street. But it was the one that like had the least amount of people walking on it. And we just so happened to get a good take when a car wasn't coming, which was like blessings because we had to stop so many times because the car was on the way. And as you can tell, I look a little tired or something. Like I think I look a little sweatier. And for me, it's because we were out all day. Like I was shooting his stuff and then like we were shooting my stuff and we were doing, this is probably like towards the end of it, the end of like an hour or like an hour and a half. Maybe an hour, maybe I'm over exaggerating. But like, I remember I was just like, it was the end of the day and I was tired and I was like, we're doing this. But in my head, I was like, I think it adds to the story. Like I
It
look
does.
disheveled. I look a bit like I've been through some stuff. I was like, it adds to the story. So I'll embrace it.
It definitely does, because imagine you looked pretty fresh, especially at this point in the video.
Yeah.
I think it
Like
works
I just went
so
through it
well.
all. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like, all right, come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm good. I almost feel like you should have just turned around and just been like, yo, I'm taking this, like, you know, like
Lord,
I'm done.
Lord, take me today. Like I've been through it all.
like I'm done.
I'd have been a good
Uh,
BTS. Like just do like a funny take like that. I should have.
Yeah, no, it's so good. Let's watch Act 2.
All right, sick.
The more TikTok the world.
You find yourself in an open field, the kind where the grass stretches towards the horizon in every direction, as far as the eyes can see. Now, when you think about it, it's as frightening a thought as it is wondrous, isn't it? With nothing but open grass in sight, which way do you go?
It's not that serious, dude. Just take this time and relax.
And so relax I did, but I knew there was still so much for me to learn. So learn I did. And I quickly realized that not only was this break the time for a much needed spring cleaning of the mind, yeah, this coat's gotta go, that it would also serve as the beginning of an inspiring new chapter.
Extreme wide angle lenses. Sounds good.
The open field was not a prison, but rather a sanctuary. And so the days went on. No production, no pressure, just a season of untamable curiosity, where the days felt endless, limitless. But as it is with seasons, they come and they go. But it was in those days, in moments of complete silence, where I reconnected with something. An old friend, if you will. The kind of friend who you can sit with and reminisce for hours on end about times that feel as if they were from another lifetime. The kind of friend that reminds you of you before everything got so busy. That old friend writes to me now, and I write back. And I tell them about how much easier everything's been ever since I stepped away from the race.
God damn, dog. The idea getting into Act 2 now. Like where was your thoughts on it? Where was your mind on it?
When I initially was like, I'm gonna make these next couple of videos are gonna be 3 acts of one whole message. I knew what I wanted to do as well was experiment and like try different things with each one. So I was like, I don't want every video to feel, or every act to feel, to evoke the same amount of emotion that, or say, evoke the same type of emotion that the other act did. Because again, I was coming off of a summer of digesting so many different arts that evoke so many different emotions. And again, like with the ethos of Atlanta, like something that can just touch on different parts of your heart and your brain and your insecurities. Like I want to do that with this a series of 3 acts. So I knew that Act 2 was not going to be as thriller as Act 1, and I knew it was going to like depict the happenings of what happened in those months where I was away from creativity. So I knew I wanted it to be like a passing of time. And so that's kind of what I went for. The big thing in my head was like, how do I depict the passing of time in a way that for me feels right? And it feels like it tells a story of what was actually going on. And honestly, I gotta shout out Gox, as I'm sure you know him. He's like one of the most probably like talented young filmmakers out there.
Yeah.
And I love his work. And I remember just seeing one of his videos and seeing like one of those, he had a video where he did a quick match, like 4-match cut of him, like kind of similar, like it's like an overhead of his room, but it was really quick. And I was like, I would like to do something like that to show passing of time, but to make it slower, to take my time with it and to like show multiple scenes and show multiple days and to not make it so quick. So I decided to just do that. And initially I was like thinking that it would just be something more quick. But then I remember I was laying in my bed. I was like, dude, how do I really do this? And I was like, wait a minute, what if I just make like the meat, the majority, like the most important portion of the video, that like just tell a story from the top down. And I was like, I'm just gonna do that. So I think that was a cool way to just show space, that the passing of time, obviously like set design, reorganizing the room, different times of day, all that plays into making it feel like time is passing because things are shifting and my outfits are changing and it's just like life is just passing by. Like that's what the summer was. And I decided to do that. And I cooked up like 10 different day shots, 10 different night shots, 10 different evening shots. And I like put it on the list in Notion and I was like checking them off. So, okay, tonight I'm going to shoot my night shots. Or I'm going to shoot the first half of my night shots. And it was, again, it took a lot of time because I had to reorganize the room, set everything up. And then I had to like change and film multiple takes and like, so I can get a good one. So I was doing that like for a couple days. I was like, okay, now today I'm going to shoot all the evening shots, or today I'm going to bang out the day shots, and then I'm going to shoot the evening shots after. And it was all doing just kind of that. And then I remember, I don't know, I was thinking, how do I bring it home? Like, how do I like tell like what my conclusion of all that time was? And I just kind of felt like, I don't know, for me, it felt like so much time away from creativity, so much time away from social media, so much time away from the noise, and just spending time by myself, with my family, with friends, on my physical health, and in digesting good art. It felt like I was just kind of coming back to the original me that wanted to create in the first place. Like that kid, you know, like the kid that's in you that everyone has in them, but it's like the desire to express yourself. Like I think every human in the world wants to express themselves. Some of them just don't feel as confident doing it. And I was like, I think that's what I was coming back to. I was coming back to that confidence. Like, yes, I can express myself the way I want to express myself. I don't have to do it like how others express themselves, or how like other people, how the formulas operate that allow you to succeed in expressing yourself. Like all you should really want is just to express yourself authentically. And so I was like, that's the kid in me that's coming back. And I was like, let's just make it like I'm having that conversation with that kid again, or that friend. I made it more like a friend that reminds you of the old you. I was like, because I had that shot of my friend, and I was like, it'd be cool to like
down.
personify it again in a form of something else. And this time it's like an old friend.
I was just thinking like something. I'm so glad that you found yourself that kid again, because the sad thing is when you talk to your friends, you guys get older and they don't find that kid anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like and
Yeah.
and it's like they don't even got time to look for that kid, that
Yeah.
wonder, that creativity.
Yeah.
So it's like a blessing that you found it, or people could tap into that every
Yeah.
so often and find that.
And it's the time. That's what you said. You don't have time to, because life gets busy. People get jobs, get responsibilities. It's also like beyond just like creativity, but like life as you get older gets busy, and that's unfortunate. Part of like reality. So like that's kind of why I made that start transition from like, it reminds you of you before everything got so busy, and then I cut it to just me in my room looking kind of like somber, like I'm back to present day. And I wanted it to sound like there's noise outside, there's sirens, there's dogs barking, like reality's back, like we're in rough reality. And I wanted it to kind of be that, like, it's a struggle. It's like it's not a solution. I still struggle with that now, but like life is just fast, and you got to find ways to carve out time to really think about how to express yourself authentically, how to create authentically. Like those are things that take time. And I think people maybe sometimes get caught up with that speed because they don't have time to devote to that. So like, well, I got to do something, right? So let me just churn out like this 8-second reel. I mean, maybe that's all the time they have for that. So it's unfortunate that life is that fast, that it puts people in positions where they don't feel like they have the time to really put time into projects.
Would you suggest people do what you did, to just shut off for like a couple months and
Yeah, I mean,
find
to
that
be
again?
honest, it's definitely something that I think is important for any creative to like take time, to take time away for a second, like step away from the thing that you love and just like have like a healthy distance for a bit, because if you're so immersed in it, you're like always looking at the next thing, and you're always looking at the next deadline, and you're always looking at the next day or week, and you don't have time to really sit back and be like, wait a minute, how am I doing? Like, how is my creativity? How's my creative health? Like, how is that doing? Like, is it good? Is it like running? Is it feeling like it's wearing out? Like, it's like you got to take time to like step back and like look at that, look at him or her or whoever you want to personify it as. But it's a being that is part of you, and you gotta give it time to like breathe. And so I think some people don't realize that, and I realized that late, or I guess, but it came at the right time. And honestly, also, like, I would say do it smartly, because I had like my grandparents' house, and like I had a place to stay, and like I wasn't being like burdened by rent or like a family and things like that. So like I have the freedom to do that. So it's like maybe people can do it, but it doesn't have to be 2 months too. It could be a week. It could be 2 weeks. People who do like the post weekly thing or post daily thing, which is crazy to me. But it's like just take a week or two off and like reorganize and think about like what you're doing, what you're creating. Like if you want to make changes, like what are you trying to say? How can you make an impact to others?
I think a big problem too is the whole copy and paste kind of era we're in, where you see something cool, you want to see if you could do it, and you do it, and you're like, cool, I could do it, I can improve on it. But then you see another thing that's cool that you want to try, then you do it. So it's like being able to step back. I love how you put it in words where it's like creative health. No one ever thinks about your creative health, where it's like, is this really healthy for your creativity?
Yeah. And I think, honestly, I'm not like bashing the like short form either, because I think for me, I think it's important when you're in the beginning of your phase as a creative to experiment and like try things out. And like I did a lot of like 8-second, 15-second, 20-second stuff in the beginning, but it was important for me to just like kind of like flex that muscle, not flex, but like condition that like creative muscle to be able to get comfortable sharing yourself online, get comfortable finding your voice, your style. And as is with most things, like it always begins with you just like trying to emulate your favorite artists or your favorite idols or like role models and things like that. And then naturally you start to find your voice. But I think some people tend to lose themselves and get stuck at that first phase, and they don't make the next step because they find success. Maybe like they're like, hey, it's working for me. Like I don't need to get out of this thing.
That's exactly it. They see the numbers, and the numbers to them is what success is, right? And it's cool if that's what it is, but at the end of the day, like you're doing it for numbers and maybe not doing it for yourself or for the art, which is fine, I guess, if you're telling yourself that,
Yeah, it's. I mean, everyone has their own. It's up to individual to decide what they want, like, what the art means to them. And if they just need to make money and like support their family, then hey man, you do what you gotta do. But I knew that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to make real authentic art and try to like inspire others to do the same. So I was like, I need to take a step back and not fall into that trap.
Definitely didn't, man. These are amazing pieces, dude.
Thank you, man.
This grass part in the beginning.
Yeah.
Are you on a drone? Is this generative fill? Is this?
It's definitely not a drone. It's definitely not a drone. I wish I would have drone. Would have helped. But dude, this was literally that same C-stand that I used in my room. I just like put an extension on it, put it up 100 feet. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I was like, a drone? Yeah, imagine.
No,
like,
I'm
dude,
kidding.
so just get a drone.
No, it was the C-stand, but it was the same. Like I was helping my friend film on the field. It was a different field actually, but I was like, hey, can I get some shots for my video? She's like, of course. And I had the C-stand. I actually used it for her video, but I used it for mine as well. And initially, like I think if you go to the first frame, like because it zooms out, but there's the first one that's closest to me. That's what it captured. That's like all the breadth of what it captured. And I knew like, hey, if I'm gonna get this like endless field visual, I'm gonna need to capture something, and I'm gonna have to do AI generative fill and just like kind of like create a giant border around it or like a big extension of it, and then just zoom it in and then slowly zoom it out so it reveals more of the grass. And it's cool because I mean, honestly, it was hard for me to get it to look right because generative fill just wasn't helping me out, and it just looked really weird. And I was like doing a lot of like small extensions because obviously, ideally, I would have just like made a big border around it, generative fill, boom, it's all there. But like when I did that, it was whack. So like I had to do it bit by bit by bit by bit, and then I had to like color it so it like it felt similar to the actual like log footage because it was a JPEG or like a PNG or whatever when you export it. So you have to like do a lot of lumetry on Premiere to get it to look right, like the shadows and all that stuff, and even like the scale of it because sometimes there's like large grass like whatever.
It looks like someone
like,
didn't mow the lawn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so it was a struggle for me to get it, but eventually I did, and it's cool because some of my friends come up to me and they're like, "Hey, dude, like, was that a drone shot? Like, it's crazy." And I was like, No, but I'm glad you think so because that's what I was going for. Yeah.
It's great that you didn't just settle on this closer shot,
Mm-hmm.
because the feeling of this, how
Yeah.
small you are, like it does something else to you. Like that, it just gives you a different feeling.
Yeah, and that
Um,
like vignette at the end was a last minute decision because I was just like playing with it and I was like, it'd be like obviously all that behind was grass, so I had all that space to put there, but I was like something about like the vignette just kind of expanding and it just revealing more and more grass makes it feel like it's endless because there's gonna be more and more beyond that.
and like the color grading too, I love. Like the green is so deep,
Yeah, yeah,
because the
yeah,
green, I'm assuming, wasn't this deep. Obviously, when you shot it.
yeah. No, 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 it definitely wasn't. And it was actually like I wanted to get some sun, but like we had obviously filmed too late with my friend's video that we were doing it as the sun was already kind of down, so there wasn't much dynamic light and shadow anymore. You could see that even like in the footage of me and her sitting down, like it's just a little flat in terms of shadow. But I was like, I don't know, I just got to bring it to life with color, I guess.
The choice in the orange, like the fit, was that a specific choice too, or just naturally
No, that
she
was just
came?
her. She brought a sweater, and I was like, okay, we'll work with it. Like I didn't have any
Yeah.
thoughts about that actually.
Huh.
Funny enough,
Interesting.
but
Okay.
it worked because it felt like it feels like not juvenile, but it feels like it has like that childish color pop, and it feels like it's so bright that it's like it could feel like something that doesn't really exist, like a person that's of your imagination because they have this bright color radiating away from them, you know? So if it was black, it would have been, I think it wouldn't have popped, but it kind of like the orange and the white, like that just stark difference. It like makes it feel like it's like yin and yang almost.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Because I always think, what if it was something else? What if it was something else? So it's how
Mhm.
my mind thinks. So I was like, what if it was blue? I'm like, that feels completely different, or even red. Like the orange feels playful, like a kid, like your friend in elementary school. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? So
Yeah,
I was
so
like,
I don't
yeah,
know, that's cool actually that you think about that because I didn't think about it like that, but it would've been I think I would've been quite impressed if I was like, "Yeah, like, I looked at the color theory and I found, like, the child, like, nostalgia color was blue, so then I implemented blue." And there's some
yeah.
directors that do that, and, like, I was actually watching
There's
a YouTube
so
video about
many.
that.
There's so
Yeah.
many. Like, even the way, which is, I don't know if it's because my mind works like this. The way she was sitting, I was even gonna ask, because like, when you're kids and you sit cross-legged almost,
Hmm.
that felt like a kid. Like the
Hmm.
way
Yeah.
people move, and if you observe certain characteristics of people, really tells you a lot about them. So if you're
Yeah.
ever writing a script for characters, it's like, what did this person go in the past that makes them sit this way or act this way or says a word this way or look or interacts with people or objects? It's so cool and it's interesting. So when directors go deep into that, I love that. I'm like, wow, you
Yeah,
really
yeah,
went
for
in.
sure.
It's this clone effect. I love, okay, the set
Yeah.
design in general. Sorry, before, when you said, okay, yeah, I got 10 day shots and 10 night shots. Were you thinking, okay, what does a set look like? Because I know that it's got to be different times of the day, but I feel
Yeah.
like at that amount, you would always have to be like, okay, it's got to look messy. I'm like organizing my clothes in one. I'm
Yeah.
I'm listening to music. I have the projector on. That one shot that
Yeah.
you just had a
Mhm.
projector on. Is that what you
Mhm.
storyboarded? You're like, okay, I gotta make these scenes look different.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. Like, I knew there was always gonna be a theme behind every scene. Like, it was always gonna depict something that was actually happening during the summer. Like, I was actually cleaning my clothes. I was actually doing spring cleaning of both my mind, but of also my room because I was like, I have so much clothes and like I don't need all this stuff. So that sweater I was actually getting rid of. Like, it no longer belongs to me. Like, it's at a Goodwill now or something like that. But like, I was like in the projector, like I was watching a lot of movies that summer. So like, I wanted to show the movies, and I was working out a lot. So there's that workout shot. I was doing a lot of I don't know, like that call shot where it's like I'm like talking on the
And
phone and I'm
you're
grabbing my
yeah,
keys and I'm leaving. That's kind of depicting me going on these like jobs that I'm actually doing for the first time, like helping my friend shoot the music video or helping my friend shoot her video for her website. That's like a job depicting a day of me doing a job. So it's like all these different those notes were really important because my friend actually when I left my job, my architecture job, one of my friends gifted me a like a sticky note or a post-it note like souvenir that like
yeah.
when you take a note per day, it reveals like origami thing behind it. It's kinda cool, but it's like you pull out these little notes and it's like you have these notes. So I was like, let me just do like a daily like note, reminder, more so like a one sentence journal entry to myself every day and like date it. And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but it just feels good because I'm taking this break and it's like I'm just kind of like logging every day that I'm away
That's
from creativity.
cool.
So, like, this is me just kind of like no one's really gonna know all that because 'cause they're gonna be like, what's he doing all these papers?" Like, but, like, for me, it's authentic because it's actually what was happening. I was writing all these notes, so it's me just kinda collecting those notes and kind of, and
Dude,
it
but
appears in the end too.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, with those
Mhm.
last 3 notes. But
Right.
like now that people might know it, it's way
Yeah.
cooler.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
even your friend who gave it to you, they'd probably be like, "Yo,
Yeah, I sent him a text.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, your sticky notes made it to Hollywood or something like
they
that.
got featured. They got featured."
I texted him and I was like, yo, you got to give me the next prop that's going to go big, dude. Like, you need it. We're a team now. Like, we catch lightning once. You got to give me another prop.
But yeah, you have to put your affiliate link to these in the description, just in case people want to buy them.
Yeah. But the thing is that, like, not all of it, some of it I just had fun too. Like, towards the end, I put some shots in there that aren't actually, they're kind of surreal in a way. Like the one of me cleaning the mirror, or the one of like the on-air sign. Like, those aren't.
The mirror one too is like because I was like, this guy definitely had to angle it, because then you would have saw the camera. So that's why you're
Exactly.
kind of holding it like.
No, it's
This one-
actually, the camera was visible. I just I
Oh,
did
was it?
I did AI generative fill over the
Oh, damn.
the camera, made it look like it's on the mirror, like kind of like eased it so it colored it so it looks like everything around it, and then I just masked my Swiffer in my hand and I just brought it over that still image.
Oh, it's
But these are like, I was cleaning my room, but I wasn't cleaning it this hard. But I was like, it's
Yeah.
cool aesthetically. Like, it's, just throw in some weird surrealist shots. Like, where's the camera? Like, what the heck? Not that anyone maybe pick up on it because it's kind of quick, but like,
yeah. I was when I was looking at it, I was like, how do you do this? I was like, oh, is this why it's angled? And I was like, oh, maybe.
No, it's
But-
flat. It's flat on that table.
Okay, the choice of music.
Mm.
How did you choose
Oh,
this
dude.
track?
That was hard. That took me a while to find the right song for this. I remember actually, like, I was at one of the cafes here in Guatemala and I was like working all day to try to find like the right vibe for like this montage scene. I just could not find it. And like, I left the cafe and I was so bummed. I was like, dude, a whole day, I couldn't find the right song. I like met up with friends and they were like, you look a little down. I'm like, yeah, I just wasted a whole day. Yeah. But it was hard. And I don't even remember how I came across Claire de Lune by Claude Debussy or whatever his name is. But I love him as a composer. Like, I love I love all kinds of music, but classical music's really cool. And I don't remember how I decided that was the song, but it just kind of, it came into my heart and I was like, this is the right one. And I think I wanted a song that had some sort of like fast beat to it so that I can like cut these frames to it, but not something that's too fast either, because I wanted some of them to breathe. And I liked how like in that song there's beats that last longer and there's beats that last shorter, so you can kind of like, it's not like a or it's not like a stagnant thing. It's like there's a long one, there's a short one, there's a really long one, there's a really short one, there's a long one, and then a bunch of short ones at the end that it's like a perfect like climax build. So I was like, this is it, this is the song, and I put it in there. And as you can tell with this one, it's mostly piano, the piano version, but what I did was I sampled a variety of different versions of Claire de Lune from YouTube, like a string version, a guitar version, like choir version, like a lo-fi version, like all these different versions that I can like play with and overlay, so I could have like an interesting version of Claire de Lune that isn't just the piano version. So in this one, there's a piano one, there's a little string at the end and stuff. Obviously in the one where like it's like a silhouette of me walking back and forth, that one's a whole bunch of different versions of Claire de Lune overlaid on each other, so that it's like this unique depiction of Claire de Lune, but it also kind of shows the chaos.
Like this.
Yeah, like that portion. Like there's a lot of different Claire de Lunes.
Sanctuary. And so the days went on. No production, no pressure. Just a season of untamable curiosity, where the days felt endless, limitless. But as it is with seasons, they come and they go.
It sounds seamless though. It's like it
Yeah,
works.
that's the struggle. That's the struggle, is that like you have all these different sounds that have like common denominators, but you have to figure out a way to like blend them together. And that's where the time in terms of sound design comes, like making the balance and the mixing work well. And there's like a jazz one at the end, like you can hear like there's like a piano that goes really crazy at the end. Like it's a jazz rendition of Claire de Lune where someone just kind of went crazy on the piano and decided to do their own thing on it. I was like, I like this because it kind of goes from Claire de Lune to like this crazy like ending. I was like, let me put that in the mix, and let me like,
wow. Even the detail of like listening and listening to this same song in different versions and then like mixing it all up. That's
and then if you
wild.
notice like at the end, that guitar like ending tune, that is Claire de Lune. It's just a really quiet, slow rendition of it in guitar, acoustic guitar form. And I was like, it's a perfect way to end it.
Before everything got so busy. That old friend writes to me now. And I write back. And I tell them about how much easier everything's been ever since I stepped away from the race.
It's crazy. Like I knew it was a song, but I didn't even like listened to it being strings. I was like,
Mhm.
what?
Yeah,
That-
like guitar, yeah. It was when it clicked in my head, I was like, wait a minute. I can use Claire de Lune throughout this entire video to evoke different emotions, to like capture
the
the
same
different energy
song.
levels in the video. I was like, that's good stuff right there.
That is.
I'm gonna talk about that in an interview one day. I said, no kidding.
Yeah. It's gotta be on this guy's podcast for sure. No, dude, that's sick.
But it just it just worked, and it solved the issue of me just like, I was like, I have too many different vibes in this video. Like, how am I gonna find a song that like kind of rides all of it? Like I'm there's this emotional part, there's this quiet part, there's this creepier part.
That's crazy. It's like one theme still, different vibes, one song.
Mm-hmm.
This shot right here,
Mm-hmm.
you shooting by yourself?
Yeah.
Is this a writing and then turning the C stand or
Yeah. Oh yeah. So like the overhead, when I put my
Yeah.
hand down and I move it, it's just essentially me putting my hand down on the note,
And
other
then-
hand up on the C stand. It's
and
like unlocked, and I just go.
yeah.
Yeah. And then I reversed. I think I reversed.
And I write back. And I tell them about how much easier everything's been ever since I stepped away from the race.
And then I think I reversed that last shot so that I could like end it where I needed to end it, and then I just brought it back. And then I reversed
Oh,
it.
so
that
this whole shot was reversed.
I think that last one, I believe.
Ever since I stepped.
Yeah.
And I tell them about how much easier everything's
So
been
this is actually going this.
ever since I
Oh,
stepped away
here.
from the race.
Because otherwise I had my camera in this other hand, and so I was doing a manual like camera zoom in by moving the camera actually closer. So I was like, it's hard for me to kind of get it to land right and then bring it in smoothly. I was like, let me just start it in there,
Mhm.
zoom it out, and then as I'm out, move the other hand.
Yeah.
And then just reverse it. But it's crazy, dude, because this is the video that almost wasn't, like, it never would have been produced, because it was part of that all
drive.
log of footage, that
Yeah.
drive, and that died. And so like, if it wasn't for me like exporting a rough cut of this just so I could do some early sound syncing, like it would have been lost and everything else. Like Act 3, the original Act 3 has been lost, and that's a whole completely different video than what this Act 3 is going to be.
I know because me and you have been talking. Without whoever watches
Yeah.
this, they don't know what's actually happening. So Act 2 and
Yeah.
Act 3 were shot, and everything was shot already, and these were
Yep.
on a drive, and the drive fried.
It fell off my couch, and the disc just got scratched as it was working, and I sent it to get fixed. They were like, we can't find anything. And I was like, dude. This
So
is so...
all of
and,
Act
like,
2
all
had to all of
Yeah.
Act 2 had to be shot, reshot, all that stuff,
No,
and Act 3.
this was saved because I exported a rough cut, so I could do sound syncing early. So if obviously I wasn't home, I was already in Guatemala, so I couldn't refilm any of this stuff. So like, this is in Boston. So like, I was like, if I lose, like, everything that was lost for Act 3, for example, could not be reshot because I was across the country in a different apartment. And so like my old sound, like storyboard would not work and like all that stuff. So Act 3 that I'm working on now is completely different than the Act 3 I had planned. But this Act 2 is still the same one. Luckily, it was saved.
That's soul crushing. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, it is. And all my
When that-
footage
that
from
fell-
Boston,
Yeah.
New York, Guatemala, like all that from the last year and a half, maybe, all gone. And I had some other videos actually planned too that got lost too. So that's I think for me the biggest pain was losing shots that I had directed that were like specific, that not just like street videos that I had taken, you know, of just the streets, which I had
Yeah.
a bunch of, but like the directed shots, intentional shots that I had worked hard to get for these videos that I was planning on producing and releasing throughout September and October, November. Like that was all lost. So it was a hard pill to swallow. But let this be a lesson to everyone. Back up all your footage, have multiple SSDs, HHDs. I had one HHD and all my stuff was on it, and I was traveling with it, which is like literally the worst thing you could do.
You're
Like,
crazy,
that's so
living on the
stupid.
edge as a
No,
as a
dude,
creator.
I'm an idiot.
Why?
I was so foolish, but like now I have multiple backups, so it's good.
Yeah. So okay, so Act 3, is that shot already? Are you shooting it when you go back? What's
No,
the
Act 3 is
plan?
all shot for the most part. A lot of friends here in Guad to help me with that. I appreciate them. Like I need a lot of moving shots, I try to like push the envelope with this one, and it's all shot and I'm editing it. So it's going to be
Yeah.
maybe like, I don't know, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks until like Act 3 maybe comes out, but it's all shot and ready to go. So I'm excited for it. And it's kind of like a call to action almost to creatives. It's kind of like speaking of things that I'm telling you now. It's like me just kind of like capitalizing what I learned in the summer and what I could say, just spur other creatives to think about for themselves.